was a bookworm, and he lived on Charing Cross. The memory of his volume brings a smile. He would read me lots of stories while he wasn't on the source. Now I like to share the wisdom of my favorite bibliophile. He said, cover is not the book, so open it up and take a look. Cause under the covers one discovers that the king might be a crook. Chapter titles are like signs, and if you read between the lines, you'll find your first impression was mistook. For a cover is nice, but a cover is not the book. Mary Poppins, could you give us an example? Certainly. Nelly Rubito was made of wood, but wood could not be seen. Was strong, her trunk up top was barren, while her roots were lush and green. So in spring, when Mr. Hickory saw her blossoms blooming there, he took root despite her bark, and now there's seedlings everywhere. Which proves a cover is not the book, so open it up and take a look. Cause under the covers one discovers that the king might be a crook. Chapter titles are like signs, and if you read between the lines, you'll find your first impression was mistook. For a cover is nice, but a cover is not the book. Should we do the one about the wealthy widow? Well, I'll go on. Lady Hyacinth Macaw brought all her treasures to a reef, where she only wore a small plus 2 feathers and a leaf. So no one tried to rob her, cause she barely wore a stitch. But when you're in your birthday suit, there ain't a cent to set you rich. Oh, a cover is not the book, so open it up and take a look. Cause under the covers one discovers that the king might be a crook. Taroo-la-lee, taroo-la-la, taroo-la-la, ta-ta-ta-ta. You'll find your first impression was mistook. Ya-na-na-na. For a cover is nice, but a cover is not the book. Or should I do the one about the dirty rascal? It's a bit long. Well, the quicker I'm into it, the quicker I'm out of it. Once upon a time in a nursery rhyme, there was a castle with a king hiding in a wing, cause he never went to school to learn a single thing. He had scepters and swords and a parliament of lords, but inside he was sad. He got because he never had a wisdom for numbers, a wisdom for words. So his crown quite a mess, his sparrow smaller than the birds. So the queen of the nation made a royal proclamation to the misses and the messes, the moral lessons. For me all that's professor, and she went to the hairdresser. And they came from the east and they came from the south, from each college to put knowledge from the birds into his mouth. But the king couldn't learn, so each professor met their fate. For the queen had their heads removed and placed upon the gate. And on that date, I stayed to watch, so got a note that May was now late. Great, but then suddenly one day a stranger started in to sing. She said, I'm the dirty rascal, and I'm here to teach the king. For the queen clutched her jewels, for she hated rural fools. But this fool has some rules that really ought to teach his schools. Like you'll be a happy king if you enjoy the things you got. You should never try to be the kind of person that you're not. So they sang and they laughed, for the king had found a friend, and they ran into a rainbow for the story's perfect end. So the moral is you mustn't let the outside be the guide, for it's not so cut or dry. Well, unless Dr. Jerko, and you better hide. Petrified! No, the truth can't be denied, as I now have testified. All that really counts and matters is the special stuff inside. Oh, a cover is not the book, so open it up and take a look. Cause under the covers one discovers that the king might be a crook. So please listen to what I've said.